Have you ever heard of NAD, the fuel for your cells? This tiny molecule, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, is crucial for turning food into energy and for repairing our cells. The catch is that NAD levels decline as we age, which scientists think could contribute to feeling low energy and all other kinds of aging-related conditions. The exciting part, though, is that boosting NAD has shown some real promise in research, helping to resist weight gain, control blood sugar, repair DNA, and even live longer. No wonder NAD has become a hot topic in many health and longevity circles. Today, we'll explore the best natural ways to increase your NAD levels, and we'll cover everything from high-tech NAD IV drips to trendy supplements like NMN and NR, to diet hacks, lifestyle habits, and even adaptogenic herbs that might give your NAD a natural lift. And yes, we'll check if indulging in some dark chocolate can help too. By the end, you'll know what the science says about these strategies with the studies to back it up, and how you can support your cell's NAD for better energy and healthy aging. So let's dive in. Imagine NAD as the battery pack for your cells. It's a coenzyme found in every cell, helping to convert nutrients into ATP, which is pure cellular energy, and powering important processes like DNA repair. When NAD is abundant, our cells thrive. When it's low, our cells are going to struggle to produce the necessary energy and to fix themselves. Unfortunately, NAD steadily drops with age, even more so if you have an unhealthy lifestyle. By your middle and senior years, we have significantly less NAD than in your youth. And scientists suspect that this NAD decline is linked to fatigue and metabolic problems and all kinds of age-related health issues. The good news is that raising your NAD levels is a major focus in modern anti-aging research. In animals, restoring NAD has been linked with turning back the clock. Older mice with boosted NAD showed better muscle function, improved metabolism, and less tissue damage. These findings have sparked real hope that NAD boosters might protect against age-related decline in humans. So while human research is still emerging, it's an exciting area that many people are anecdotally reporting some amazing benefits in. Let's break down the natural and not so natural methods that people are using to crank up their NAD and see what evidence we have for each. One of the buzziest trends is NAD IV therapy, where you get NAD delivered directly into your bloodstream via an intravenous drip. Celebrities and wellness clinics rave about NAD infusions for more energy, sharper focus, and even help with addiction recovery. But does it work? Clinically, evidence for the NAD IV is limited. To date, no large-scale human trials conclusively prove NAD IV therapy's benefits. But some small studies and case reports have been pretty intriguing. For example, back in the 1980s even, researchers tried IV NADH, which is a form of NAD, in Parkinson's patients. In one trial, about 62% of patients showed marked improvement in their disability, like better mobility in the Parkinson's case, after just 10 to 14 days of NADH infusions. And a larger open-label series than in 1993 reported moderate benefits in a majority of Parkinson's patients as well with this same kind of NADH therapy. And these early results hinted that NAD might help certain conditions like these. On the flip side, a later placebo-controlled study with NADH injections found no significant improvement in Parkinson's symptoms, so the jury is still a little bit out. Now, beyond wellness and anti-aging circles, NAD IV therapy has also found its way into addiction recovery clinics, aiming to assist individuals undergoing detoxification from substances like alcohol and opioids. Some clinics claim that the NAD infusions can alleviate the withdrawal symptoms, reducing cravings and promoting overall brain health during recovery. A 2019 review suggested that NAD might play a role in addiction recovery by replenishing depleted cellular energy stores and possibly reducing oxidative stress in the brain. They reported that patients receiving NAD IV therapy for several days experienced less severe withdrawal symptoms and a clearer mental state. But of course, we need more research to confirm these effects scientifically. What about using NAD IVs for overall wellness in healthy individuals? A recent pilot study investigated how a 6-hour NAD infusion behaves in the body. Interestingly, for the first 2 hours, almost all the NAD was rapidly cleared from the bloodstream. It didn't visibly raise NAD levels until later in the infusion. But by 6 hours, some NAD and its breakdown products were starting to show up in the blood and the urine. So infused NAD was mostly getting metabolized and excreted. This suggests that our bodies tightly control NAD in the blood, and chugging a bag of NAD directly into the bloodstream isn't necessarily going to be a simple shortcut to saturate your cells. Still, some people report feeling great after NAD drips, possibly because of the indirect effects or maybe a placebo. And NAD IV therapy may also jumpstart NAD production endogenously in your body or help certain tissues, but the hard evidence right now is a little bit sparse. And also, it's a pretty uncomfortable treatment. People feel pretty crappy as they're actually getting it infused. It's costly and it's time consuming. You have to deal with these multi-hour long clinic sessions. And to be honest, of the already healthy people I know who have invested in doing NAD IVs, not to address a particular problem, but just for overall wellness, I haven't heard a lot of raving testimonials yet. If NAD is so important, why not just take it in a pill form? Well, it turns out that NAD itself is too large and unstable to be absorbed directly when taken orally. Studies have shown that when you ingest NAD, it gets broken down in the digestive tract before it ever reaches your cells. So swallowing an NAD pill wouldn't actually increase your cellular NAD levels in a meaningful way. This is why researchers have focused on NAD precursors, compounds like NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, or NR, nicotinamide riboside, that can be absorbed well and then converted into NAD inside your cells. These precursors have been shown in human studies to boost NAD levels, making them a much more practical approach than taking NAD directly. Both of these are forms of vitamin B3, meaning they're in the niacin family, and they act as precursors that your body can convert into NAD. So think of them like the raw materials that your cells are then going to use to make NAD inside your system. NR exploded onto the scene after studies showed that it could safely raise NAD in humans. In the first human trial of NR back in 2016, healthy adults took single doses ranging from 100 milligrams up to 1,000 milligrams. And the result was that NAD levels in the blood increased in a dose-dependent manner, meaning the more you took, the more it increased in your blood, and no serious side effects were reported. And further studies also confirmed that NR is well tolerated. In 2018, a controlled trial in older adults found that 6 weeks of NR supplements significantly increased NAD levels and hinted at improvements in blood pressure and arterial health. Now, while more research is definitely needed on long-term outcomes, NR's early profile is really promising. It reliably raises NAD and it may support cardiovascular health and metabolic health. Now, NMN gained fame from lab studies. You may have heard about it from Harvard's Dr. David Sinclair, who talks about it a lot. In mice, NMN supplementation has been almost like a youth elixir, improving muscle endurance, insulin sensitivity, and even eyesight in old mice as their NAD levels went up. But what about in humans? In 2021, scientists published the first rigorous trial in humans of NMN. They gave overweight pre-diabetic women 250 milligrams of NMN daily for 10 weeks. The results showed significant improvements in muscle insulin sensitivity and function compared to placebo. Essentially, NMN made their muscles act more youthful in how they respond to insulin. And this was a big deal. It demonstrated that NMN can enhance metabolic health in humans, likely by boosting NAD in muscle tissue. So both NR and NMN work to increase NAD availability, although they take slightly different paths in the body. NR gets then converted to NMN, and then NMN to NAD. If you're just taking NMN, you're skipping ahead by a step and just going straight into NAD production. These supplements are legal and available over the counter in many countries, but the FDA has been trying for a few years to make it much harder to access NMN. If you're considering an NAD booster pill, evidence supports both NR and NMN as the frontrunners. Just remember that research is ongoing, and these aren't magic age rewind pills as much as we would love them to be, but they are exciting tools that may support healthy aging at the cellular level. Personally, I take liposomal NMN, and in friends and family, I've seen significantly better results when people took it in the liposomal form rather than just normal capsules or tablets or powder because of the increased bioavailability. But back before NMN and NR were even discovered, we've had a classic way to boost NAD, plain old niacin. Niacin, which is a form of B3, has been used for decades in high doses to improve cholesterol, but it's also a direct building block for NAD. In fact, our bodies can make NAD from three main sources. You have tryptophan, which is an amino acid, niacin or niacinamide, which is B3, and then NR or NMN, which we already talked about. Niacin and niacinamide, which is the non-flush form of B3, are converted into NAD through normal metabolism. Now, eating a balanced diet gives you baseline amounts of B3, but taking higher doses of niacin can increase NAD beyond those normal levels. One study in smokers found that supplementing with 100 milligrams a day of nicotinic acid modestly raised NAD in the white blood cells. And high-dose niacin will certainly flood your system with this precursor, but it often causes this niacin flush experience where you get red and hot and itchy, which may not be so comfortable. Then you have niacinamide, which doesn't cause flushing and also can contribute to NAD. Now, some longevity enthusiasts take niacinamide or niacin as a less expensive form of NR or NMN. The downside here is that excess might signal the body to actually slow down NAD production and inhibit certain NAD consuming enzymes like sirtuins. So in this case, more isn't always going to be better. The takeaway is that ensuring you get the daily RDA of B3, about 15 milligrams for most adults, is important so your body doesn't get starved of NAD. Most people with a decent diet get enough to prevent this kind of deficiency. But if you're on a budget and looking for an NAD boost, a B3 supplement can help, but don't go crazy with the dose. A lot of experts prefer NR or NMN for targeted NAD increase with fewer side effects. Now, either way, vitamin B3 in its various forms is going to underpin all of these great NAD strategies. It's literally NAD's vitamin precursor. Now, beyond pills, powders, sprays, and drips, lifestyle choices can have a huge impact on your NAD levels. Our bodies naturally regulate NAD through enzymes and metabolic pathways that respond to diet and exercise. Interestingly, eating a bit less at times might boost your NAD levels. Studies show that calorie restriction and intermittent fasting can increase the NAD to NADH ratio and activate certain longevity pathways. In mice, a 24-hour fast raised NAD levels in the liver by ramping up an NAD-producing enzyme called NAMPT and activated SIRT1, a repair protein that runs on NAD. Fasting essentially puts cells in a stress-resistant mode. They produce more NAD and sirtuins, which help enhance metabolism and the cellular cleanup process. Many experts believe this is one of the main reasons that intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating appears to have anti-aging benefits. You don't have to starve yourself, but strategies like skipping the occasional meal or doing a 16-8 fasting schedule with 16 hours of fasting and an 8-hour eating window a few days a week might gently push your NAD a bit higher. Of course, always listen to your body and eat enough to get proper nutrition. Don't go crazy and starve yourself. Fasting is a tool, but not a necessity for everybody. Exercise is also a great NAD booster. During exercise, your cells burn more fuel and often increase the expression of NAD-related enzymes. Research suggests that strength training in particular may elevate NAD in the muscles by inducing what's called the NAD salvage pathway, which recycles used NAD. Even endurance exercise can also increase mitochondria and potentially NAD levels to supply these new energy factories. In simple terms, when you challenge your body, it adapts by creating more NAD to meet your energy demands. This is in part why exercise is so beneficial for aging. It keeps metabolic processes like NAD and sirtuins really humming. It's also why you have that tricky situation where, you don't have energy to exercise, but then if you exercise, you will end up having long-term more energy because you're boosting your NAD. And don't forget about sleep. Although direct research on sleep's effect on NAD is still emerging, we know sleep is essential for metabolic balance. Poor sleep and chronic stress are going to increase inflammation and DNA damage, which in turn can overactivate NAD-consuming enzymes like the PARP enzymes that repair DNA. By getting enough sleep and managing stress through meditation techniques, relaxation techniques, reishi mushroom, or any way that you want to do it, you are going to likely preserve NAD levels for the important stuff rather than squandering it on stress responses. Some NAD experts speculate that maintaining a healthy circadian rhythm, which is that 24-hour body clock where you get up and go to sleep at the same time every day, helps to regulate NAD because NAD is involved in your circadian clock's biochemistry. So as basic as it sounds, a balanced lifestyle with whole foods, sensible calorie intake, regular exercise, and adequate rest is going to be the most natural recipe to support NAD over the long term. I know it's boring, it's not a quick fix, and it's not a wild, exciting new supplement, but it does set the stage for any other NAD boosting strategies that you do to work better. You could take NMN and NR to try to drive your levels of NAD up, but what if you're just squandering that NAD on stress rather than on anti-aging? Now, what about adaptogenic herbs? Herbs like ginseng, ashwagandha, and rhodiola have been used for centuries to boost energy and resilience, and while they aren't direct sources of NAD, they can influence the body in ways that support the NAD metabolism. Now let's see what the science says about a couple of these. So ginseng, often called the king of herbs, is known for its energy-enhancing properties. Recent research suggests that ginseng could have a direct effect on NAD levels. In a 2023 study, mice were given ginseng extract for 9 weeks along with exercise, and the ginseng-fed mice ended up with significantly higher NAD levels in their muscle tissue compared to the exercise-only mice. They also ran longer and had better lactate metabolism, which indicates improved endurance. This implies that ginseng contains compounds that act as NAD boosters, possibly by adding NAD production or reducing NAD consumption during the exercise. Now, while this was an animal study, it's a promising hint that ginseng, or its active compounds, which are called ginsenosides, might help maintain cellular energy and balance in humans too. At the very least, many people find ginseng makes them feel more alert and less fatigued, which aligns with the idea of better energy metabolism. Ashwagandha is also renowned for reducing stress and improving vitality. It may not directly raise NAD, but by lowering cortisol and inflammation, it could indirectly protect NAD levels from being drained by these sources of chronic stress and inflammation. Interestingly, ashwagandha has been shown to improve mitochondrial function in animal studies, enhancing energy expenditure in cells. Healthier mitochondria could mean more efficient NAD usage. Now, cordyceps, a genus of parasitic fungi that people have some wild ideas about sometimes, has been a staple in traditional Chinese medicine and Taoist tonic herbalism for centuries. Recent studies have highlighted its potential to enhance NAD levels, primarily through its active compound, cordycepin. Research indicates that cordycepin can activate AMP-activated protein kinase, AMPK or AMPK, leading to increased NAD levels and subsequent activation of sirtuins, which are proteins that are associated with cellular health and longevity. All right, now time for what you've all been waiting for, dark chocolate. Does dark chocolate impact NAD? Dark chocolate and cacao are often touted for health benefits due to their high antioxidant and polyphenol content. But is that going to do something for your NAD levels? The answer is indirectly, it could help. Now here's why. Cacao contains flavonols. These are plant compounds that improve mitochondrial function and activate pathways related to NAD. In one study in mice, a diet enriched with cacao flavonols led to significant increases in NAD content in their muscle tissue. The cacao essentially boosted their cellular energy factories, the mitochondria, and this was linked with higher NAD and NADH levels. Another study found that polyphenols, like those that you find in dark chocolate or in red grapes, can enhance NAD by stimulating its production in the liver and activating SIRT1, a key longevity protein. These findings are in animals, but they do support the idea that dark chocolate's polyphenols support NAD metabolism. Essentially, the antioxidants in cacao may reduce NAD consumption by combating oxidative stress and simultaneously signal the body to produce more NAD and activate these sirtuins. So if you're looking for the healthiest chocolate bar to achieve this, I'd love for you to try our chocolate from Addictive Wellness. We use only wild-grown heirloom cacao, which is free of mold and mycotoxins, and our chocolate is sugar-free and enhanced with adaptogens like cordyceps and ashwagandha that we talked about earlier. The quest for more NAD is all about giving our cells the support they need to keep us vital and healthy as we age. We've learned that NAD levels can be nurtured in many ways, from cutting-edge therapies like NAD IV drips, which may need more research, to breakthrough supplements like NMN and NR that are already showing benefits in studies, to the everyday choices of diet, exercise, stress management, these things that create a strong foundation for cellular health. Even age-old herbal remedies and delicious dark chocolate have their place in this picture, subtly helping our metabolism and guarding that precious NAD. The science is still unfolding, and human research on NAD boosters is relatively young, but so far it's very encouraging. Boosting NAD in a balanced, informed way could improve energy levels, support your metabolism, and contribute to very healthy aging. The key is to treat this as a holistic journey. You might take a supplement like NR or NMN, but it will work best if you do it alongside a lifestyle that includes nutrient-rich foods, physical activity, and maybe some mindfulness and herbal support. Always remember that there's no magic one-size-fits-all pill. It's a combination of these strategies that are going to safely put you on the path to sustained cellular energy and maximum longevity. So whether you start hating the gym a bit more, tweak your diet, enjoy a cup of ginseng tea, or experiment with the latest NAD supplement, know that you're investing in your cell's longevity. If you're already actively doing something or taking something to boost your NAD, let me know in the comments what that is and how it's going for you. And before you go, here's a link to a video that I think you'd enjoy watching next, and here's one the YouTube algorithm thinks you'd enjoy. And there's a link to our website to give some of those chocolates and ashwagandha and cordyceps a try. Have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time.